Hello and welcome to this review of my IBM 5291 keyboard. I got this thing from Unicomp on a Black Friday sale for just $79, which is pretty nice. Unicomp handed it down from Lexmark, which they were founded out of, and sold it. Unfortunately, they don't know any more about it than that there was a Lexmark remanufacture. This would suggest it was originally made by IBM, presumably somewhere in the early 80s, and then refurbished. So it's a genuine IBM keyboard, except not really, and it's new old stock, except not really. It did come completely sealed in an original IBM box, in plastic, with styrofoam and everything, and it's absolutely spotless, so I think new old stock is not an undeserved title for this keyboard. It's even got the old square metal IBM badge on it, like other models F had. Nice! The 5291 keyboard is often known as the IBM Bigfoot because superficially it's almost exactly the same as the Model F XT keyboard that came with the IBM 5150 personal computer, except with bizarrely enlarged bezels which give it an enormous footprint, especially considering it has fewer keys than a modern TKL keyboard, just 83 in total. There are some differences though, which we'll get to in a moment. Just for fun, here's a size comparison between it and a modern 10 keyless. Look at how fucking huge it is. The 5291 was a 5250 series terminal intended for use with an IBM mini computer, such as the IBM System 36 for example. Several of these terminals could be connected to one host computer. Yeah, I know, that was called a mini computer in 1983. Now, originally I thought that they made the keyboard with such big bezels to match the width of the terminal, but as you can see from the picture, it doesn't, and it also wouldn't explain its ludicrous depth. Maybe it was intended as a wrist rest, which would be a rare case of early 80s ergonomics. Anyway, the 5250 series was an alternative to the IBM 3270 series of terminals, which was hosted a probably more well-known Battleship class of keyboards, which were somehow even bigger and heavier and among the most iconic IBM keyboards ever made. Both series of terminals had preceding beam spring keyboards as well, such as the 5251 I reviewed ages ago. Being a terminal rather than a PC keyboard, it comes with a bunch of terminal commands to replace the original XT keyboard's inputs, for example on the left here, which is where the F keys normally go. Also, there are commands like error reset, enter and rec adv, whatever that means, and typically for a terminal it's also got weirder maneuvering commands such as roll keys, field plus, minus and exit, a tab and back tab key, and a separate carriage return key, which is not the same as an enter key by the way. It's also got a different connector rather than the standard 5-pin DIN connector that its older cousin, the FXT keyboard, popularized. It's got a 15-pin terminal connector on a massive cable, 7.5mm thick. It's so thick and unpliable that I'd imagine it would get in the way a bit actually. The build quality is similarly ridiculously massive, weighing in at 3.1 kilos sans cable. It comes with the same super thick plastic top case and metal back panel, as well as a metal barrel plate and metal back plate, just like the Model F XT. In the face of so much IBMium inside, a weight of 3.1 kilos becomes almost understandable. Unique to the Bigfoot keyboard is these flip-out feet, often referred to as risers, which can be adjusted to 3 stages: tall, ridiculously tall, and outright preposterous. Even with the smallest riser, it's at a pretty steep angle, so I really can't imagine what anatomy a person using the big ones would have, but anyway, it's there if you need it. Of course, it comes with the well-known IBM die-sub PBT keycaps as well, some of the best ever made. These aren't quite as sharp as my XTs, but still pretty good, and they're the older one-piece design as well. Don't know if Lexmark remade them, but they look as good as IBM era ones. They have a much coarser texture than my XT's caps though. So the manufacturing is definitely world-class like you would expect of a Model F. However, all is not quite well in this regard, because while it's got the build of an IBM, it's got the feel of a Lexmark. See, when you try a Model F next to a Model M, it quickly becomes apparent just how crisp and smooth a Model F is really. It tends to put a Model M to shame. However, this one doesn't feel like a Model F, it feels like a Model M. There's a noticeable scratchiness to the key feel, which shouldn't be there. It's not super bad or anything, but if you know what an F is supposed to feel like, it's instantly obvious, I would say. It still works with capacitive buckling springs rather than the membrane type ones used in the Model M though. Here you can see a picture of the insides, clearly showing the PCB beneath the backplate. You'll also note the lack of plastic rivets that were present on the Model M. It does have the 1996 date on the assembly though, so I think it was at least redone at this time, if not outright newly made. It's also got the genuine Model F capacitive ping to it, if you know what I mean. The Model M pings as well, sure, but the Model F is supposed to sing, so to speak, and this one does just that. Also, that 9 3/4 unit spacebar though. Despite the key feel not being quite up to par with the Model F, it's still a good key feel. I mean, don't get me wrong, and it's a nice keyboard for sure. Unlike most other Models F, there are no commercial converters available for the Bigfoot, but the procedure for making one is known and documented. I don't have much experience with coding and shit though, so I can't really use mine, or at least not yet. Regardless, if you do, I'm sure it'll serve you well. The keyboard lists part number 1397950 on it, which sounds like it's a Model M part number, and indeed, almost insultingly, it actually says Model M on the sticker, presumably because this is just a Model M sticker they put on it. Note also that it doesn't show a place of manufacture. However, the box lists the original part number of the keyboard on it, which is 4176191. The other one is just a part number Lexmark assigned to this refurb. Overall, it's a great keyboard. Perhaps not as smooth as an original F, but it's still an original F in a way, kinda. It's a good keyboard, basically. That's it for this review. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And following is a typing demonstration of me typing on this keyboard.